Hi guys and welcome to another video on this channel. Today we're doing My Team Career Mode Season 1 Round 6. If you did miss the previous one, be sure to check this one out. We went around Baku and Imola. Well, I mean Baku, I did just do a crash compilation because we crashed at pretty much every session. And around Imola we had really good pace, but in the end we finished last anyways. So we're still last in the Drivers' Championship and last in the Constructors' Championship, which is really annoying, and we are trying to change that, but we will have to see if it happens this round or maybe at another, or if it happens at all. Today we're going around Spain, and as you can see, for practice we're putting the old engines in, but for the race we won't be able to use them because they're just too old, and I think they can't even last a race distance anymore. So yeah, for the race we will have to put new engines in. And in the performance comparison, I just showed it really short, but you can see we are second last, and on the chassis side of things we are dead last with a really huge gap to the 10th best chassis. But on the engine side of things we have the best engine, so this will help us around the next race in Canada, where we have very much straight line speed. But at the Spanish GP, where we have a high downforce circuit, I don't know if it will really help us. A lighter car would definitely help us, but we don't have a good chassis. And yeah, so we skipped through practice again like we always do. We finished all practice programs, and yeah, now we can see the discounts coming in. Now to qualifying we go, to our first lap in Q1, and actually in practice we got P1, I think. Yeah, like I said in my first episode, I never show practice, but I do FP1 myself, and then I go to quick practice for FP2 and FP3. And in FP1 we got P1 actually, or P2, I don't quite remember, but I think it was P1. And now we have a purple first sector in this qualifying session, and we had a good run through the high speed middle sector, almost flat out through turn, I think it's turn 9, and then the part I'm not really good at, the last sector, especially turn 10 and 11 and 12. I'm just not really quick around there, and then you can see the R3 settle 16.7, and we will be faster than that. We put it 15.8 in, and this will be enough for Q2. We go through in P6, our teammate gets knocked out in P21, and then we go to our first lap in Q2, and I hope to make it through on one set of tires again, but the Mercedes is really close behind us, and I hope he doesn't ruin both our laps. But yeah, he's quite stupid in this thing. They don't leave any space on the outlet. They overtake you and then give you the position back. So it's annoying on the outlet, and then they are right behind you on the push lap, and sometimes they try to overtake you, and it's just ruins both laps, and I don't know, it's just stupid. Codemasters should find a way to fix that problem, because it's really annoying and it's just destroying some really good qualifying laps. And then again, through turn 10, 11 and 12, we are not that fast, but we had 2 purple sectors at the start of the lap, and around the last corner we go, and we put in 15.5, which will be enough to get us through to Q3. We go through in P7, and then our first lap of Q3, we have 2 new sets of tires, and we actually the second lap of Q3 we set a first lap which put us in P8, which is not where we want to start. And through the first sector we lose a tenth to our previous time, so we are not on course for a good result here. And then through turn 5 we actually gain some time on the entry but lose it again on the exit. In turn 7 through 8 and 9 we don't really gain time, and then on the DRS break we are still 1.5 tenths down on our previous lap, and it's not getting really better. So yeah, we're not going to improve on this lap, I think. Actually we are up half a tenth and a tenth through the last turn, but with 2 tenths gain that's not enough, and we start in P6.
Let's review our top
I was hoping
today.
for more,
Leclerc,
but
Sainz and Max Verstappen.
with a 15.0 it's P6. So let's go to the race and hope we can improve even more from that.
Welcome along everyone to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, and it hasn't been used since 2007. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, the owner driver, Perez, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Bottas, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Joe, Albon, De Vries, Fittipaldi and Logan Sargent. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And with me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor, and every time you're involved in an accident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
And then to the grid we go.
Okay, here we go.
The strategy is one actually useful and the other one, I don't know, sometimes the game gives you one really trash option. And as we can see, a little bit after the race it's gonna rain, so maybe if there's a safety car or a red flag we will go to inters at the end. But I think if there's racing without any pauses or breaks, we won't get to that period. So from P6 I hope we can get some points finally and improve on our position in the constructors and driver standings, because we really need some points to meet our sponsor's goal. And yeah, so we try to get the parking right, and I hope we can get it. And actually we go purple and with 0.5 away from the line, so it could be better, but it's okay. It's really good, but it still could be a little bit better. And then now we're looking to get a good start. Actually, Hamilton got a really bad start and we got ahead of him, so we're in P5 now, but Hamilton gets back at the end of the straight and goes ahead of us. And actually we can't close the door for Paris, so he tries to go through as well and we can't keep around the outside, so Paris is ahead of us. We actually lost the position on the start and we're in P7 now, but we're trying to get this to the end of the race now, and I really hope we can do this. And behind us is Norris on hards, so we are on the faster compound, so we hopefully can build a gap to him, so we have some breathing space. But as it's looking right now, he's right behind us and we're not building a gap. He's actually gaining on us, but through turn 10 we build a bit of a gap for one turn, but then lose the time again on the next turn. And now through the almost flat out last two corners we actually already lost 2 seconds to Paris, so we're gonna need to get the pace up. But on lap 3 we go wide and Alonso, who's right behind us, will try to use that to go for a move, and he just flies past us, so we have nothing we can do against it. And now we're trying to stay with him to build a gap to Bottas, who's actually on softs, so he should be faster than us, but maybe with the DRS we can stay with Alonso. And on lap 20 Verstappen and Russell, who already pitted, overtake us again. They got a pit stop ahead of us now, and we decide not to fight them because they are on much fresher tires in much faster cars, and it's just not worth losing that time, especially when we are 11 seconds ahead of P9. So we should get some points out of this. But then with 12 seconds gap after Sainz spun it, we get a red flag, so our 12-second gap is gone, and that really hurts us. And now you can see the rain will be there at the end of the race, which is not good for us, because you saw in Australia I don't really have the pace in the rain. And now we are trying to get a better strategy than anyone else. We're actually saving us a pit stop because of this red flag. I wanted to pit at the end of the lap 24, but because of silent spin, we actually didn't need to pit and could just change the tires under the red flag. And then at this restart, we get ahead of Sainz, but into the braking zone, Sainz goes ahead again, and we can't keep it around the outside of turn 2. And actually Piastri hits us and we almost lose the car, but we can stay ahead of him, and Piastri actually lost some positions, and now we're in P8 and trying to build a gap to P9 and P10 behind. And on lap 29 we didn't stay with the cars ahead, but Checo had a mechanical problem, so he went slower, but I don't think he DNF'd. I think he got his pace back later on in this race, but we can't build a gap to Norris, who is on the soft tires, and he flies past us, and we now gonna try to stay with him and build a gap to Bottas and Checo so we can finish in the points. But Norris is just too quick for us, and Checo found his pace back. His mechanical problem got solved, I guess. But we built a gap to Bottas and Gasly, so it's looking good for points right now. And I hope we can stay in the points. And then on lap 39, we have still 5 seconds gap to P10. We would have 2 points right now. And we go a little bit wide out of turn 12, and then on the exit curb we spin it and hit the wall. And that's race over for us. And it really hurts, because we would have probably gotten 2 points out of this with 5-second gap to P10. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but we'll have to live with it. And it was our own mistake, not like in Bahrain where we had a screen freeze. It was just I lost the car on the curb. Yeah, and Hamilton went on to win the race, like I think most of the races so far. But yeah, it's quite sad that we had this opportunity to score 2 points at least, which would have helped us in the constructors and in the drivers' standings massively. But yeah, we'll have to live with it, and we're gonna try to make it better in the next race. But the way it went so far this season, I don't know if we can score any points. But we have 10 more laps, 10 more rounds to go, so 10 more opportunities to score some points and get some positions in the drivers and constructors championship. Actually, De Vries DNF'd as well, and I looked at the tires to see if the rain arrived at the end, but it didn't. It stayed dry through the whole race, so this definitely cost us some points. If there was rain in the end, we might have lost it anyways, but like this, I think we definitely would have kept this 5-second gap. Maybe it wouldn't have stayed at 5 seconds, but we definitely would have saved some of it, and we probably would have come back in P9 or at least P10. So yeah, it's not good that we lost the car on the curb, but it is what it is, and I'll try to make it better next time. So yeah, but at least we got the money from the sponsor's goal, so some money to upgrade facilities. And yeah, see you guys next time. Goodbye.